Yo, it's Yali here from Wave. 2025 marked my first full year running my clothing brand, and I wanted to take some time today to kind of reflect on everything that I learned from that first year running the brand, things I want to improve in 2026, and kind of what I'm focusing on next. So I'm going to take the next few minutes, kind of give you the real experience as a brand owner running a clothing brand by himself while working another job, and give you all the free game that I've learned, and hopefully you can learn something from this. You can see exactly where I'm at on the journey, and let's do it. 2025 marked my first full year running my brand Wave. Before that, I'd only done a few months and one drop really back in 2024. So I'm gonna count this as like my first year in business. Overall, I had a lot of things that I learned, a lot of wins, but at the same time, I made so many mistakes, and I've learned so much from those mistakes that I want to really take a minute and talk through exactly what I did, what I learned, and how I'm going to make changes going into 2026. So last week I dropped my core sweatpant, which I can throw up on the screen here so you can see what it looks like. And honestly, this was one of my best drops to date. I think I had the most hype from it, and honestly, it was pretty much all organic as well. Basically, I sold through half my inventory on drop day, which sounds really good, but at the same time, it means I have half my inventory to sell through now. It's a lot harder, at least in my experience, to sell through products after drop day. On drop day, there's a lot of hype, there's a lot of excitement, people want to get their hands on it. And thinking about this, it kind of made me realize that back in 2025, I did a lot of drops. I did probably like 5 to 10 different drops, and most of them were with brand new products that I've never launched before. And I kind of ran into the same issue where I had a pretty good drop day, but then selling through the rest of the inventory was a big challenge. You have finite resources, meaning you have finite amounts of cash, you have finite amount of time, and in order to sell through product and work on your designing and everything, you need to be able to prioritize like what you want to focus on. For me as a brand owner, I feel like I've already identified and have found like the core SKUs for my brand, and I know what's going to work and what's going to sell and what's going to scale. And that's going to be my core collection, which is like the quad short and maybe the t-shirts and the classic short. So that leads me to lesson number 1 from 2025 is drops can be a distraction. And it sounds kind of backwards as a clothing brand, right? If you run a clothing brand, all you want to do is drop new product. You want to go through the fun parts where you're sampling products, you're getting new designs, you're working through new patterns, new fits, new styles, whatever it is, and drop them and share it with everyone that's supporting your brand. But what I've realized is that in 2025, I did this a lot, and it ended up kind of coming back to bite me later. And what I mean by this is 2 things. 1, it took away a lot of my focus and energy. And 2, it took up a lot of the company's like financial resources. Every new drop takes at least 4 to 6 months worth of planning. The second thing is that when you're dropping new products, you're eating up so much cash. Unless you're doing pre-sales or something, you basically have to pay for all the inventory up front before you know you're making a single sale. So there's a lot of risk that's involved with running a clothing brand. You're basically putting up thousands of dollars in inventory, and only a few months later, you have the chance of selling some of it. There's no guarantee anyone's gonna buy anything, no guarantee you're gonna sell through everything, no guarantee you're gonna make your money back. So everything is all about making calculated risks. And in 2025, I made probably like 5 to 10 different drops, and a lot of them were brand new products. So I had no validation that, my audience was interested in these products. I didn't know if they would sell, and it was really just going off of my gut feeling, which I think there's a time and a place for that. But ultimately, I ended up having situations where I wouldn't sell through all of my product, or I'd try this brand new concept and no one really wanted it. And at the same time, I already had proven SKUs that I knew would sell well. Like the quad short, for example, is my best seller. Every time I've dropped it maybe like 4 different times, added new colors, and every single time I've been able to sell out of it without a lot of difficulty, right? Like people are looking for this. I know that I have product market fit with this product, but still for some reason, I just love the design process and I love putting out new pieces. And so I kind of let that feeling take over. And I think I just did too many drops. And because of that, I was out of stock of the quad short for probably half the year. I missed out on opportunities when I went semi-viral on Twitter or whatever, and people came to my site and saw I was sold out. There's a lot of opportunity for new sales, new customers, whatever, that I missed out on because I was just distracted on doing drops. That kind of leads me to the second lesson, where you have to stay in your niche. At least for me, in my first year, I tried doing a lot of different things. I started out with activewear, and then I started introducing some lifestyle pieces like my tank tops, and then I started doing hats, and then I did necklaces, and then I did sweatpants. And like some of these are gonna hit, some of them are gonna do well, but then some of them are also not gonna do as well as you had planned. And what that means is you have all this inventory left. You're basically holding money in the form of clothing instead of money. So that means you can't go and produce new clothes. You can't go restock your winning products. And it kind of restricts your growth because of that. And so that's one key thing that I've learned the hard way really back last year, is that I need to stay in my niche and focus on what works. And there are tons of brands out there that have scaled to be huge just by focusing on even one core product. Like look at Kill Crew, for example. They make all sorts of clothes today, but they started out just doing shorts, and they would have basically the same version of the shorts, and they would just print different designs on it, add new colorways, add new materials, but they would grow a huge audience and a huge following based on that core hero product. And that's what I need to do with Wave in 2026. I have that product identified, and I just need to go all in and scale it. And that's a good segue into the next lesson, which is inventory management. Like I was saying, I've been out of stock of the quad short on and off for probably about half the year last year, and it's a huge problem that I need to address. From talking to different people, I think inventory management is one of the harder nuts to crack when it comes to running a business and running a clothing brand, but I'm gonna do a lot better at that in 2026. It's tough because, for example, I have a shipment of the quad shorts coming in February, and it's probably about 3 months worth of supply. But like I was saying, it takes 2 months for the factory to restock, then it takes 1 month to ship. So that's 3 months before I have to make an order, before it can arrive, which means as soon as I get this first shipment, I basically have to place another order. And that all relates to cash flow. As a business, you need to have cash to spend on inventory and restocks and all this stuff, but it's really hard to do that and stay in stock all the time. So there are some different options out there, like you can get loans, you can use credit. Shopify has some Shopify loans out there that you can use. I haven't really messed around with any of that yet. Maybe this next year I'll do that, but it's something I need to think about more and just be more intentional about. So that's definitely one big learning and takeaway that I have from 2025 that I want to apply in 2026. And then the last thing is all about marketing, content, everything like that. One of the good and probably the best idea I've had since starting the brand, other than the brand itself, is to post and document my journey on Twitter. And on Twitter, I have a pretty small following there, but I feel like the people who know me on there, they genuinely know me, they know what I'm building, and they're there to support me. And from day one, I've really gotten a lot of love and support from that community, and it's been completely organic. And I think it speaks to the power of today's day and age, where marketing, like, you can go so many different ways. You can go through paid ads, you can do influencer marketing, you can do organic marketing on all these different social media websites. But it really, the main thing is, like, you just need people's attention. There are so many brands out there, so many distractions out there, so much noise out there, that everyone is fighting for everybody's attention. And in 2026, I want to make sure that I'm continuing that trend of sharing my journey, documenting what I'm doing, what I'm building, all the things I care about on a lot of different platforms, and try to just get more reach and more eyeballs on the brand. My goal is to really just expand Wave to be as big as possible. And I think the unlock for that is going to be focusing a lot more on my content. Like, content is king these days. So I'm going to be leveling up in that sense a lot, and just keep an eye out for what I've got coming up. And that pretty much covers it. I think one of the biggest lessons and mindset shifts that I've had in this semi-recent past is the fact that you really control your reality. Like, the thoughts that you have in your head, the way you talk to yourself, the beliefs that you hold, they all play such an important role in how far you can go in life. If you think that you're gonna be the biggest brand owner, you're gonna create the biggest business, you're gonna get in incredible shape, whatever it is you wanna achieve, and then you take actions towards that, you're gonna achieve it. It's that simple. And on the flip side, if you talk to yourself in a way where you're saying, man, like, I'm never gonna get in shape, or man, like, my business always fails, or man, like, I'm always so unlucky, then all of that is always reflected back to you. And so if I look back 3 years ago, I was working at a job I hated. I didn't like the way that I looked. I felt off all the time. I didn't like the way I spent my time. And as soon as I kind of made this mindset shift and then paired that with actions and changing my lifestyle, changing my diet, changing the clothes that I wear, taking action and initiative to actually start a business and make consistent progress on it every day, even though I saw zero results from it for the first year, that's when everything changes. And now I'm looking back at my old self, and I'm like, wow, this is everything that I wanted back then. But at the same time, there's still so much more that I want to achieve here. And it goes to show the power of thought, the power of intention. And I think that's something that everyone needs to practice. But that's my spiel. I've kind of talked through the real experience that I've had as a 1-year-old clothing brand in 2025. I think I have a lot of good takeaways for this upcoming year, and I just know this is going to be a big year for Wave and a big year for you watching as well. And I just want to say thank you for taking the time to watch this. I appreciate you. I love you. And if you want to leave a comment, if you want to subscribe, if you want to like the video, it would mean a lot. Yeah, anyway, I'll see you at the next one. Let me know what else you want to see. I'm happy to go into anything else about the brand or about my lifestyle. And I'm going to be making a lot more of these videos coming up. So I'll see you soon.